Hi everyone, it's Kristi. We're going to start our file folder folio today, and this is the part we're going to do today. You'll need, for this project, like I said in the first one, you'll need a couple file folders and maybe some envelopes, some Tyvek or some tape that you can support the creases, and then some cardstock or chipboard and your favorite papers. We're not going to be decorating today. We're going to be doing the basic foundation structure, or whatever you want to call it. This folds out like this. This is going to be a pocket, and I can see I need to add some more glue here. I didn't add quite enough when I did it, but I'm not sure about this flip. I don't have a small punch, and I don't want to cut little round circles because I don't think they'll cut right. So I'm either going to use a big circle punch, or I'm going to do a different kind of flip for this. Different than what Andrea did anyway. To go back, I'm getting ahead of myself. The inspiration from this is the File Folder Folio by Andrea, which is Artymaze, and I just love hers, but I don't have all the things to do it exactly like she does, and you know, I gotta mix it up a little bit. So I am going to be using her tutorial as my basis and jumping off point, and I'm also going to be using her kit. This kit is the Floral Folio, and the link to that will be in the description box. I did on the last video, I said this was all one, but this is not. The one in the back here, after my little errors, that starts with the music page type one, this is Collage 3. And I'm going to take that out because I'm going to use that to make another tattered and torn journal. I've got two of those. I did one with Collage 1, another one with Collage 2, and I wanted to do another one with Collage 3. So I do have two of those in my Etsy shop at this time, and when I get the other one finished, I will upload it as well. Anyway, let's start. When I did this one, I was just playing around to try and get a sense of how it worked, and I used, and you can tell by this, the top tab, okay, because it would be like this, okay. So it doesn't really matter because I actually like the way this one turned out just as well. This part here is faux, F-A-U-X. This has been added after just for looks, and I love it. I think it's so fun. But anyway, Andrea used a center cut, and that's what I'm going to start with on this one. So what we need to do is do some scoring. So get my scoreboard out, and basically if you look at a file folder, you'll notice that there's usually at least 3 or sometimes 4 extra score lines. That way, if you get a file that is fat, you know, you can fold it on one of these lines and you get a flat bottom. We're going to be using that 3/4 of an inch for our spine. Okay, you can see the embossed lines there. I'm going to have to keep looking at my notes here. Basically, so that I don't confuse you, I'm going to take the original fold, or what do you call it, score line, and then I'm going to go ahead and score 3/4 of an inch, which should line up with the score line that's there. I'm going to flip it over and do it again. Now, you see this isn't lining up with the 9-inch or any marks. Every single one of these file folders is a different size. And you know, you may have one that is 8 3/4, and you may have one that's 8 7/8, and you know, I mean, it's just different. So, you know, just use your judgment. I'm going to line this score line up on that so that I can follow that same score line. Okay, so then we will have, and I probably won't be able to get this whole thing in the camera shot, so bear with me. That's going to be our spine. Okay, now the first section, I'm just going to verify this as I go. I believe the first section is approximately looks like 4 1/8. But that may differ there again. Let's measure this and see. We decided this was, okay, this score line comes okay. So this is approximately on this second score from this part of the spine, and I hope you can see that. There you go. Let's try that again. Okay, so we've got, this is the original score line, and this is the one we just did. This is approximately 8 1/8. So I'm going to come down to this 4, and I'm going to score here. I am going to flip it over, however, because I'm going to fold it the other way. So you usually try to fold away from your score. So I'm going to come down here at the 4" and take your time. Probably have to go over it a couple times. It is kind of thick. And then I'm going to come over another 1/8 inch. So we're, if I'm at 8 1/8 or 8 1/8 here on my spine score, I'm going to come over at 4 and 4 1/8 less, so it's actually 3 7/8 from this outside edge. I hope I'm not overcomplicating it. Take your time. You can see I just went off, so take your time, go slowly, stay in the groove. There we go. Okay, so we've got that side. Now, on this side, we're also going to, and I'm just going to fold that back a little bit so I can measure that. Let me double check my measurement. But this side, oh, you know what? On this side, what we did was we folded this in so that we were just about 1/8 inch, or not quite 1/4 inch from the first spine. Hope you can see that there. And folded that. And I think that comes out to about 4 1/8. Let me check. Well, actually, it's not. It's, this part is about 4 1/8, but this part is, if I want to get right up against that edge there, is about 4 and looks like 3/4. The back piece is going to be a little bit bigger than the front. So I want to go ahead and reinforce these folds, get them nice and tight. Okay, and this one as well. This one's going to be a little trickier because we have this 1/8 inch in between. So we'll score one and then we'll kind of have to walk it through the next one. But let's do this little spine piece first. Just flatten that down so we've got that section there. Okay. I'm going to do the back one first, and there again, like I said, I'm just going to have to walk it down because it's got the two score lines so close together. It wants to do its own thing. So I'm just going to make sure this is lined up here, and then just kind of slowly walk it down. Now you'll notice this is about the same distance. This is about 1/8, maybe 3/16, not quite 1/4 of an inch away from the spine. The reason we're doing that is because we don't want it to rub. In fact, no, I think I'm okay here because that's not that close to the spine. You don't want it to go right to the score line because when you're opening and closing it, it's going to rub, and then you won't be able to add anything to it either. So, okay, let's try and tackle that second score line. There we go. Just going to kind of press that one down. This, this cardstock, or, well, yeah, that's what it is. This card is thicker. Okay. So, and it's not going to stay, like the other spine, but it's going to give us just a little bit of room inside. Did I do it backwards? I did. Let me try again. Okay, this is easy enough to remedy. Now I've got it all softened up. I am going to reinforce these creases, so it's okay. We're going to reinforce these. So let me get that down. Not that it really matters, to be honest with you. I'm kind of going at an angle this way to maybe push that out so it doesn't make an all new score line. But like I said, this one isn't going to quite stand up. It's just going to give us a little bit of extra room on this side. Okay? I think that's right. Yes. Okay, now what we want to do is get our scoreboard back, and I'm going to just make myself a little note real quick that this is the top, and this is all going to be covered. Okay, so let's spell it correctly. Okay, this we're going to put up here, and I'm going to go ahead and fold this back to the original fold the way it was, put it all the way up here, and we are going to score this. I'm going to double check my notes, but I'm pretty sure it's 8 1/4. Yes. 8 1/4. Okay. So, I'll come over here and slowly score that. Flip it this way. 8 1/4. Okay, that's going to give us a fold line for our pockets or what have you. So, I'm going to fold this up. Start in the middle, work our way out, and then I'm going to go ahead and score these. Now, some of these we're going to keep, some of these we are not. So, we are going to keep this pocket. We are not going to keep this one, so we're going to cut off this one. We're going to cut off this spine piece. We're going to keep this one, and we're going to cut this one off. Okay? So let's do that. And as well, this little tiny piece in there. So I want to cut, because I'm keeping this one, I want to cut inside these score lines. Okay? Because I need it to be able to fold up and not bump into the other piece like this. See how that's still giving me some resistance? Even though I cut it inside, I still need to cut off just a tad more. I'm going to come in maybe a 1/16 of an inch and cut at an angle all the way down to this corner like that. Just this little piece, okay? And I'm going to do the same thing on this side, just about a 1/16 of an inch. This is a little tricky, so take your time. Doesn't have to be perfect. There we go. But now, when I fold that up, I have no resistance here, and I have no resistance here, okay? Now we're going to take this piece off. So when we're cutting this, when we're going to cut inside, this part we keep is where we go, all right? So inside this score line, not just right along the edge. We don't want it to be a different size. We just want it to be, it's a sliver. It's not even a 1/16 of an inch. Keep these pieces. We'll use them for pockets and such. So, all right, so now I need to come over here, and I'm going to cut this the same way, 1/16 of an inch. I know Andrea cut this one smaller because she used it just as like a tuck. She had a wraparound closure. I'm not sure I want to do that, so I'm going to leave it for now and see what I want. I might want to just, well, I didn't go straight. I might want to just keep the whole pocket. Now, I am going to use my my craft knife. You can use the scissors, but I'm not very good with my scissors getting in here, so I'm going to use my craft knife just to cut across this little spine piece. Okay. Get that out of there. I'm not keeping that piece. All right, now I'm going to come over here, about a 1/16 of an inch up to that corner, just so that is, you can see 1/16 of an inch there and there. Well, I don't know if you can see, but you probably can see better than I can. All right, so now I'm going to come up here and I'm going to cut this piece completely off, going inside the score line. Okay, and then they're basically hanging on by a thread, so you can just pull them off. Keeping that one, we'll use it for a pocket. So now we have these two pieces. This folds in this way, this folds in this way, and this folds like this. Okay, now when you get your spine out, you're going to see that this one is about, well, the spine is the difference. So this one is going to be about 3/4 here on the edge. And that's okay because we're going to put a faux folder on there. So where did I do with that? That piece. So you have your second file folder, and you're just going to cut off a sliver. So I'm going to do it a little bit more. How much did I do on this one? I like it a little bit thicker so I could, yeah, about 3/4 of an inch this way. Okay. This we will use. Keep all those extra little pieces. Okay. And then, I need to cut it at 8 1/4, keeping the tab part. Okay, let's see. 8. I'm sorry you guys can't see it. You'll have to take my word for it that it's 8 1/4. Now, if I put it on there and it's not the right size, you guys are going to laugh at me. Okay, so that is going to get glued to the edge. And then the spine will be here, that little tiny 1/8 of an inch spine. Okay, so let's keep that. I'm going to fold this over just so that I don't get it on the wrong piece. Okay, and I'm just going to glue that down. You don't have to do this part if you don't want to. You could just leave it. You know, take a look at it and see what you got. We're only putting the glue along this edge, not on the tab. But it's a file folder, Folio, and I think the tabs are kind of cool. You know, different, interesting. Okay, so I'm going to line this up here. And line that up there. Just like that. Make sure there's no glue oozing anywhere. Don't see any. That looks pretty good. Okay, so now this comes out almost to the other edge. Okay, you probably could slide it up if you wanted to, if you want it to be more even. By the time we're finished adding everything to it, it's not going to matter because you're going to have things sticking out everywhere. So, okay. So I hope that wasn't too confusing. Just take your time, step by step. Let me get this glue closed up. Now we are going to do the spine. Okay, if I can find it. So, I did the spine just shy, yeah, of the 3/4. How did I do that on this one? I'm trying to think. I think I did the Tyvek first. So, what did I do with the Tyvek? Here it is. So I'm going to tear off a section of the 2. And I will link, I'll put a link to the Tyvek in the description box. I had to look it up because I couldn't remember, but I believe it's wrist bracelets, Tyvek wrist bracelets. And when I looked it up this morning, it was 100 count. They are 3/4 inch. It was 100 count for $5.24. So not too bad. Now they're perforated, and so they get kind of wonky when you tear them, but it doesn't matter. They don't tear themselves. So yeah, I'm gonna put the Tyvek on before I put the spine. Okay, so where's my glue now? Oh, see, if I put things back in the wrong spot, I'm lost. How big is this? Okay, I'm going to come along here. And the Tyvek will reinforce it. If you don't have Tyvek, you can use tape, Scotch tape. Well, I probably wouldn't use Scotch tape. Unless you have like the cellophane tape, you could use packing tape, masking tape, medical tape. You could use a piece of fabric. You could use a piece of maybe even some cardstock or whatever. And I'm going to pull that up because I don't want it to be in the way of these pockets. And then I'm just going to press that down. And there we go. So in this case I left 2 together because I have a wider area here. But these 2 I only need 1. And so get this on here. And I have been using these Tyvek, well, you know, there's 100 of them. I usually only use 1 or 2 per book. This one I happen to be using 4. But, you know, I think I still probably have at least 70 left, 75 maybe. Okay. I'm just centering that. There we go. This part right here is where if you were, I think they buy these so that you could do whatever you want with them for your events, because this is the part that is the sticky part where you would wrap the bracelet to stick. I'm just going to cut that part off. So I got one more here. I'll lay that down a little bit. Oh, I wanted to thank you guys for your response to the 1,000 subscriber giveaway. I love your comments. I love what you guys are going to do. I'm making a list of all your ideas because that's all pretty much what I want to do. I talked to my sister this morning and she's like, we need to go thrift shopping. And I was just informed that, oh, I think that's crooked. Our shelter in place is extended till May 31st. I don't know. It's crazy. I don't know what to think. I don't know how people are going to function without working. Okay. So let's cut these off. Anyway, so we were talking about Mother's Day. And so I think if it's been extended, then we're going to have a Zoom Mother's Day. I'm not a fan of Zoom. It's like my least favorite thing. It's just frustrating to me. It's so noisy and chaotic and everybody talking over. And the commercial, I saw a commercial. I don't know who it was, maybe Progressive Insurance or something, and they did a parody of it, and I just was dying because it's so true. And I won't even watch television shows where people talk on top of each other. Talk shows, like, regardless of their political views. I just can't stand it when people are talking on top of each other. And so, yeah, Zoom doesn't really work out well for me. But with our family, it should be fine. It's a smaller group. There's only 8 of us. So maybe 12 if some other people join. But okay, so the camera kicked off at 29 minutes like it's supposed to, and all you missed was me finish putting the glue, and then I put this down so it wouldn't dry. So I was almost done anyway. If I hadn't gabbed on so long, I would have made it. Now, here's the other thing. This, because this is center cut, this has a little nub here. I'm going to just trim that off. You know, I'm wondering. Okay, it doesn't look as tall as the other one, but it is. Okay, yeah, so I'm just gonna cut this off. Which side is beveled? This side. Line it up on this straight piece. And then I'm just gonna, whoops, I'm just gonna cut through the ruler. There we go. Not too bad. Not perfectly straight, but I can live with it. Okay. That's where if you have a sandpaper or a sander or anything like that around, that can come in real handy for little bumps like that. So, okay. I think that's it, guys. I almost made it in the 29-minute time slot. So I'm going to keep this here. And so we have the spine, so that's going to be secure. And this folds in. Oh, okay, so we need to fold these. I think I'm going to wait for them to dry, and then I'm going to go ahead and fold them. And then the next step I'm going to do is to cover the whole thing. I'm not sure if I want to use the background pages or if I want to use music paper. I'm not sure. And I'll be back to show you what I've done. The covering of the file folder is going to just make it sturdier. Okay, so I want to go ahead and cover everything, and a lot of things are going to be covered over anyway, pockets and flips and envelopes and things like that. But I want to add a layer of paper. Now, I mean, this would be okay, but this is kind of on the thin side of file folder. And I think that matting both sides is going to make it a little stronger. So I'm going to ink around the entire thing, both sides. I'm going to mat all the pieces, and then next time I'll be back to show you what it's like, and we'll move on. All right? Thanks for watching, guys. See you next time.